Corey finds willing men to have sex with her before she devours them, her sensual desires transforming into a cannibalistic addiction for flesh. Her husband, Leo, once a practicing doctor, only to disappear without a trace so he could care for his wife, covers Corey's tracks, disposing of the bodies, locking Corey away in their bedroom with the hopes that she won't cause others harm. In contrast, Shane and June Brown, recently married, decide to spend their honeymoon in Paris, but Shane's ulterior motive is to find the whereabouts of Leo, a man he has prior history with. As the pursuit of Leo and Corey's whereabouts continues, Shane's actions leave his wife June isolated intimately, demonstrating that she may not truly know her husband at all. This is Claire Denis' Trouble Every Day, a polarising erotic horror thriller which delves into the darkest malevolence of sexual desire. A film that transgresses into a world of inhibited consent in favour of abusive domination, devouring the self psychologically, but the target physically. Claire Denis examines the limitations of romantic trust and the consequences of passing beyond the sexual point of no return. Claire Denis' approach to horror is incomparable and inimitable. Denis' distinctive filmmaking voice remains intact with Trouble Every Day, often highlighting impressionistic subtleties to uncover character relationships, flaws and motivations. There's almost a rhythm to the understated within her work, from the disposal of another corpse to Shane's continual harassment of women he doesn't know. Additionally, within Trouble Every Day, Denis drip feeds the audience clues towards this unassuming, unexpectedly larger mystery. Why does Shane seek Leo? Does Corey have any autonomy over her actions? How much or how little does June know about her husband? Claire Denis presents a grounded mystery of sorts, unflinching in the face of visceral grotesquerie so believable that the film presents a version of reality of how sexual violence is committed for an abuser's own cravings. One significant aspect of Trouble Every Day is the internalized turmoil of not knowing a partner's truest, fullest capabilities, inviting the skepticism surrounding whether one can truly trust another. This is apparent within June and Shane's skeletal relationship. June Brown is often kept in the shadows of Shane's truest motives, never told what Shane does away from her, often not present for the intimate little moments expected to fill the honeymoon days. Bleakly, the audience has a clearer understanding of who Shane is, a history with another man's wife, and a seeker of targets for his own sexual abuse, as if it's the only way to cater to his libido, inherently predatory by viewing any woman as a potential receiver of his violent desire. June has no knowledge of this, as she is often isolated during moments of intimacy, either separated from Shane due to his lack of presence, or separated sexually as Shane climaxes by other means. Claire Denis encourages us, as voyeurs, to consider this dysfunctional dynamic, and the limitations of a romantic trust yet to be earned, if it ever possibly can be. By contrast, Corey may be incapable of controlling her own violent sexuality, but her relationship with Leo is dependent on trust. A trust that Leo will cover for her, a trust that Corey won't murder Leo, a trust that they can understand one another once the clarity of remorse sets in. Although Corey and Leo's relationship also has its own limitations, as Leo feels inclined to keep Corey locked away, both for her own safety and for the safety of any other potential victims. Trouble Every Day isn't shy about exploring hidden desire, forcing us to recognise that sexual climax can be a form of horror itself for the victims. A violation of trust, consensual boundaries, and the victim's own humanity. The reality is that some people truly wish to hurt other people for their own pleasure. Shane overwhelms a hotel maid he has observed numerous times, resulting in his own cannibalistic craving coming to fruition. It's a horrific scene to witness, and bound to be a significant reason why Trouble Every Day has garnered such a mixed response from Claire Denis' audience. It's a climactic sequence that serves as a payoff to Shane's earlier predatory implications, from his lingering too closely to women on the train, to watching the maid from a distance. whereas Corey's violent urges result in her shadowed by heavy remorse, not necessarily an excuse for the killings she's undertaken, although the sex she's had with men is consensual, and her remorse is a human consequence of feeling guilt for her own psychological destruction. Shane has no such humanist self-reflection over his behaviour, which results in eradicating innocent women's consensual barriers. While we witness Shane commit one of the film's most heinous acts, like his wife June, we will never truly know how often Shane has taken from women for his own abusive desires. In conclusion, Claire Denis' Trouble Every Day is bound to result in a mixed response. Its subject matter and the way it depicts it is likely to be upsetting, stressful, and potentially traumatizing for sexual abuse survivors in the audience. For other Denis fans, Trouble Every Day demands we recognise the very grounded, very real horrors that people face when targeted by predators, as well as acknowledging how the worst of the worst will often cloak their truest intentions from those closest to them. A deeply chilling experience. Within the darkest circles of the psyche of her characters, Claire Denis finds the trouble every day. A special thank you to my incredible tier Patreon supporter Gil, and my super tier Patreon supporter Spoiledzilla.